We will get started, shall we? Lying on our back to begin class. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scooch back. So starting on your back. Let's have the knees bent, feet grounded here. Okay, knees and feet, you want to align with your hip bones in the front body, right in the front body. So really no more than 2 fist distances away from one another. Right, grounding the feet in. Arms, wherever they're resting, just have your palms faced up. Let your shoulders really roll open. And then even sometimes lightly pressing the backs of your shoulders into the ground will help to also broaden you more across your chest. Finding length here, so take the crown of your head and reach it and pull it towards the back of your workspace, which is going to lengthen your neck here. And then feel your tailbone kind of reaching towards the front part of your workspace. Long spine, neutral spine too, so there is going to be a little bit of a lift off the ground with your lower back. And let's just gently shut the eyes here. That allows us to go a little bit more inward, a little bit more focused to the self, which is what we're really trying to achieve here right at the beginning, right? That connection of mind and body and presence. Yeah. So with eyes closed, begin to just notice your breath, not changing it, just understanding it, becoming aware of it. So just feel the breath as it moves in and out of your body. What areas do you fill up with when you're breathing in? When you exhale, are you emptying out completely? What is the quality of your breath as it is now? How does your breath sound? How does it feel at the back of your throat as you take air in and as you release it? Right? All these little things about our breath that we don't often pay attention to because we don't really have to, right? The breath is there for us. We don't have to think about breathing. It just kind of naturally happens, right? Innately in the body. But because of that, right, then the breath quality sometimes is hindered. Generally, our breath is kind of short and shallow, and we don't really use a lot of the times the full capacity of our lungs. So when we start to breathe mindfully with focus, we can then build up our quality of breath and then use that breath to help us both physically and mentally. Breath becomes a tool, a way to help move our bodies, a way to keep our bodies in stillness when needed. The breath can calm us, relax us. It also can give us fire and energy when needed also, right? So the breath wears many hats. So begin to slow your breath down here. Think about taking longer, deeper breaths in from bottom all the way to the top. And then when you exhale, slow and steady stream from the top, pushing all the way out through the very bottom. So rise and fall. As you breathe in, let the ribs expand, open, fill the lungs completely. And then when you exhale, feel the ribs begin knitting and drawing back to your midline. Squeeze the breath out. Continue with this breath. Letting your mind clear, so not worrying about what you did earlier today, what you may have to do after this, and really just be in the moment. Right? One breath at a time. We're also going to connect to our core here as well, our powerhouse, our center body. So adding a layer to this breath now continuing to breathe deeply and fully, but this time when you inhale, let that breath still be kind of light and easy. But when you exhale, begin to really push, force the air out with lots of power. And maybe you place one hand on your belly here. Feel this in your midsection. Breath in, belly rises, it's relaxed. But when you squeeze that breath out with all that force, noticing your abdominal muscles begin to firm up, engage, and contract, right? Feel your lower belly drawing down deeply. Now you're going to continue to stay with this breath. Light, easy breaths in, strong, forceful exhales out. Each breath out, very audible. You're taking this time to build up relationship between breath and core, right? We don't normally breathe like this. So we do this in stillness, build up that pattern so that when we do start to implement exercises, this breath now almost is like second nature to us. Feels a little bit more natural or comfortable. And each time that you breathe out now, see if you can pull your abdominals in even deeper with every breath out that you take. Let's go ahead and take 4 more rounds of breath here in your stillness with connection. Big breaths in, strong exhales back out. We'll take 2 more rounds here. Big breath in. Exhale it always. Squeeze the very last bit of air, right? Every last drop. And then on this last round of breath, take an inhale. As you exhale, use the firming up of your core to lift your feet off the ground. Draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a hug. Now in this space, we'll offer subtle movements. Begin to rock gently side to side. Move with the tempo of your breath here. Right? We don't want to lose that quality we just built. So we don't rush our movement. It works with our breath. Just getting a general massage into your back here. Then from side to side motion, begin to create a circular motion now with your legs. Let your hands guide this movement. Both legs are moving in the same direction. And if your hands were clasped, releasing that clasp to just allow for greater range of motion in your legs here. You should feel this now just into the backs of your hips, your SI joints just above the tailbone. Take a moment then to pause and reverse direction. Deep breaths in, strong, long exhales all the way back out. Good, then you're going to go ahead and pause. Bring the legs back to stillness at center. Keeping the knees drawn into your chest. Now take your arms and either open them out to a T, or if you're really close to an object, bend at your elbows, create cactus arms. But here, feel the backs of your shoulders and shoulder blades, all 4 points, equally rooted into the floor. We never want to lift any part of that up off the mat. So with knees drawn in, arms out, take an inhale. Firm up your core as you exhale. Begin to guide both legs over to your right side. And as the legs begin settling, look over that left shoulder. Just a simple spinal twist. Any variation of this. Your right hand can come to the top of your left leg to lightly press down on it. That may increase the intensity of rotation or sensation. And we're looking over that left shoulder as much as we can. Our neck is the extension of our spine. Let's stay here for 1 more big inhale. And then force that breath out, firm in your core. Exhale, bring the legs up slowly to center, head through center. Pause there. We want to fill up again, right? The breath moves us. Big inhale. Strong exhale. Now gently guide both legs to your left side as you look over right shoulder. Twist again. And when we land here in this rotation, right, looking over that right shoulder, we want to make sure that the back of that right shoulder hasn't lifted off the ground, which can be a common thing. We want to reroot it to the earth if it had. That way our thoracic spine, right, our upper back, actually gets the rotational movement. Take 1 more big breath in here. Again, a firm core as you exhale, legs slowly up to center, head back through center, and then lengthen your legs all the way down onto the floor. Both legs are long, and then we're going to take the arms, bring them close at your sides, down beside you. Yep. Never going to get this adjustment of the computer. Anyway, arms down long, legs down long. This is going to be a very big but slow movement. This is working on how we can use our core strength for stabilization of the rest of our body. So really take your time with this and feel resistance in the movement. We'll start with our right leg. Keeping the arms still at your sides. On an inhale, begin to slowly draw the knee in towards your chest, and then let the leg extend up high to the sky. As you exhale, begin to slowly lower that right leg downward towards the floor. You're not going to lower it completely. The lowest you would go is a hover, and then you pause. We start again. Draw the knee in, extend the leg up high to the sky, top of the breath. And then on the exhale, as if your leg was moving through molasses, right? There's that resistance on the way down, your core engaging to support that. We'll do that again. Knee draws in, leg lifts up. And then exhale, find a level of lowering that works for your body. It doesn't have to come all the way to a hover. Anywhere before that is fine as well. Yeah. Draw the knee in, lift the leg up high, find length through the toes. And then maybe you flex the foot, drive out through the heel. So you're going to feel that heel lengthen forward as the leg begins to lower. This time we'll draw the knee in and we'll lift the leg up high and we'll keep the leg there. Gently hold onto the back of your right leg with both of your hands and anchor your tailbone to the floor. Start to gently pull back with both hands, bringing the leg just a little bit closer to body. As the leg gets pulled in closer to body, also fight that energy by trying to push your leg into your hands. And that's really just going to get a little bit more length to the backside of that leg. Staying in the stretch, let's flex that foot, heel to sky. And then point the toes. Again, heel to sky. Point the toes. Can you soften your shoulders here? One last time. Flex the foot, heel to sky. Point the toes. Good from here. You're keeping your toes pointed. Let's release the hands and then take the arms again either down close at your sides, or if you want more stability, open the arms to T or cactus your arms. All right. Our right leg is still extended up. Toes are pointed. We're externally rotating that leg, meaning the thigh takes a little bit of a roll open to the right side of your mat. Not taking the leg out to the side though, just that twist. And then make sure the knee is stacked above your hip. We're moving into what's called single leg circles. Very small movement, very controlled, core strength to keep the backs of our hips equally grounded. Bend your right knee a bit if you're finding any strain in the hip flexor in the front body. So single leg circle, it's very small. On an inhale, take your right leg, cross it just slightly over the body, just a little bit of a cross. And then you're going to draw a very slow and small circle down, around, and back up on the breath out. Stack the leg above its hip again, pausing. We'll do that again. Cross over slightly, breathing in. Without your hips seesawing, exhale, circle the leg around. So you can increase the size of your circle, just maintain control. We're going to do one more in this direction. Crossing over, breath in. Use your core strength, firm up the belly to exhale, sweep the leg down, around, back up the top, stopping here. We're now going to take it in the other direction, opening the leg out now to its side as you breathe in. And a circle down, across, and stack back up. We're doing 3 total, so 2 more. Opening, slow. This one's a little bit more challenging, moving in this direction. It's a little bit more physically challenging than the crossover. We'll do 1 more here. Opening out to the side. Keep that left hip glued down. And then circle around. Exhale. Okay, let's draw the right knee into the chest. Let's place just the right hand onto the knee and create circles using that hand to massage out your hip flexor. So one of the principles of Pilates is that it's more important what's not moving in the body rather than what is. And that specific exercise is a great example of how that principle really takes hold. Okay, go ahead and let that right leg lengthen out. So releasing that circular motion. So both legs are long again. So we're going to do all that on the other side. So we'll start with the left leg now. Arms at your side. On an inhale, draw the knee towards chest and then lift the leg up nice and high to the sky. As you exhale, begin to slowly lower the left leg downward. Again, resistance, so we're not dropping it, we're guiding it using core strength. And then you find a level of lowering that works for you. You begin again, knee pulls in, leg lifts up as you breathe in. On the exhale, feel that foot really stretching forward as the leg comes downward. So we're finding the fullest range of motion that we can. On an inhale, draw the knee in as closely as you can, then lift the leg up as high as you can. Exhale, lengthen forward on the way towards the earth. Again, draw the knee in, lift the leg up. And then firm in that belly, lower abs, draw down deeply as you exhale, bring the leg downward towards floor. This time we'll pull the knee in, lift the leg up on the inhale, keep the leg lifted, and hold it gently from behind with both hands. Anchor your tailbone back to the earth, and then use both hands to gently pull that left leg in just a little bit closer to body. It's not going to be a huge movement. And while that leg is being pulled in with hands, fight that energy by pressing the leg into your hands firmly. A lot of push-pull energy is really needed in stretching. Hold the space and broaden more across your chest. And then flex your foot, heel to sky. Feel it in your calf now. And then point your toes. That's going to travel to the front side, even to the top of that foot. And again, flexing foot, heel to sky. And pointing the toes. We'll do one more of those. Heel to sky. Good. Point the toes. And then you're going to keep your toes pointed here. Gently release the back of the left leg. Arms again either close at your sides or opened out to T or cactus arms. With toes still pointed on the left leg, you're going to draw the leg forward just a little bit so the knee is stacked over the hip. And then external rotation of that leg, just meaning that thigh kind of rolls a bit open to the left side. Single leg circles. Again, it's a lot of core strength to keep everything else but the left leg in stillness. Crossing the left leg over just slightly over the body on an inhale, little crossover. You're going to draw a small circle down, around, and then make sure you stack above hip again. So we want to start and end in the same position. And then we do it again. Cross over slightly. Backs of both hips are anchored to the floor as you exhale, draw that circle. As big or as little as you'd like. Again, you can bend the knee if you need to. We're going to do that once more. Cross over on an inhale, just a little bit. Small circle down, around. Stopping now at the top, right? Everything stacked above the left hip. Now we reverse the direction. Can't talk today. Open the leg out to the side on an inhale. Circle it around, slowly exhale. So again, we don't want to rely on any sort of momentum or swing factor here. Open up slow. Use muscle strength, abs and leg to circle around and up again. Pause. We'll do it one last time. Opening the leg out to its side. Circle down, around, stack. Good. Now draw the left knee in. Hold on with just your left hand and circle the leg around. Just massages out the hip flexor. So we're just getting a little warm up for the abs, right? Working on stabilization. Good, let's go ahead and bend both knees, ground both feet next to the mat. Let's get briefly into our hips, stretching them out, the outer hips and glute region. So let's take the right ankle, cross it over the left knee, and flex that right foot. Give that leg some energy to help then press the leg away from body. You can even use your hand to the inside of the thigh to push away. This is your figure 4 stretch, so any variation, right? Your left leg can stay grounded, or foot rather can stay grounded. Or you could lift the left leg up higher, hold it from behind with your hands, maybe even draw that left leg in a bit closer to body. Right leg still pressing out. Drop shoulders towards the floor. Keep the back of your neck nice and long. Notice your right hip and the sensations created in the moment here. Find your breath again. And then with that breath, begin to slowly rock side to side. And notice here, as you're moving very slowly, how is the stretch or sensation changing in your body? It's going to get to different like areas of your outer hip and glute region. Good. And then begin to slowly bring yourself back to center, into stillness. Release that stretch. We'll go to the other side. Left ankle over the right knee. A flexed foot, right? Energy for the leg. Press the leg out, a little bit more space to the outer hip. And again, any variation, right? And it doesn't have to look the same way that you had done it on the other side, right? Maybe that right foot stays grounded for this one. Or maybe if the foot was grounded last time, maybe you take a little lift of the right leg. But before you add movement, right, we're so often ready for the next step, right? What's coming next? We're anticipating always as humans, right? So how can we be in the moment? Shift your attention to your left side. And then when you're ready, when you're noticing that space, then begin movement. Very subtle, very slow. We don't want to move quickly here because our mind then wouldn't have the time to catch up to the sensation that's being created. So we move slow so we can really feel it. Really connect to it. Okay. And then go ahead and come back to stillness, come back to center, release the stretch, uncross the legs, place both feet back onto the mat again, and take a moment to realign, right? Knees and feet, hip bone width distance apart, which is generally again, 2 fist distances away from one another. Once you're there, take the arms now and then lift them up to the ceiling. So your arms are stacked directly above your shoulders. Palms are going to face forward. You want your hands to be shoulder width distance apart. We tend to narrow them sometimes at the top. So keeping that distance is going to keep the chest opened. Arms are firm, so fingertips reach up high, but take the backs of your shoulders and really plug them down to the floor. We're moving into some abdominal curls next. Take an inhale, prepare yourself. On your exhale, you're going to lift up the head, neck, and shoulders. And as the head and shoulders come up, arms are going to gently lower down close at your sides to a hover above the floor with fingertips stretched forward and shoulders dropped away from ears, eyes on your navel. Lower back down to the mat on an inhale and bring those arms back over their shoulders again. So we initiate with core, arms follow. It's a smooth movement. Exhale, use ab strength to lift up head, shoulders, and as the head and shoulders lift, the arms naturally come down at your sides, right? So it's not 2 separate movements, it's one, it's smooth. Come back down to the mat on an inhale. Again, exhale, find lift. Fingertips stretch towards your heels, shoulders drop down, eyes on navel. Come back to the floor on an inhale. This time, exhale, peel up head, neck, shoulders. Look down at navel, arms hover. Remember those arms are strong, right? Not noodles, firm. Begin to pump them down, and you're going to breathe just very steadily here. I like to breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 4. So it's not a rapid, quick breath. It's still slow, but big and full. But the arms have some rapid, energetic pumping, yeah? Core is used to keep the upper body very still and stable. If your head begins to, or neck rather, begins to strain, take your head back down to the floor, okay? Let's stay with this movement. Now bring the legs into tabletop. Stack them right, the knees right over hips, ankles and knees, same level. So now we're using more core strength to keep the stabilization of lifted legs. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, breathe out. Good. Now let's take those legs and extend them straight up to the sky. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Now let's take those legs and begin to lower them downward. Nothing huge, just a slight diagonal here. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and rest. Let the knees pull in. If your head was still up, take it to the mat. Recovery here. So that might have gotten your heart rate up a little bit. Get the blood pumping, right, flowing through the body just by vigorous movement of arms. Core strength, of course, was working for the support of head in the lift, support of the legs, and the stabilization of center body, okay? Let's go ahead and lengthen the legs all the way down onto the mat now. Push out through your heels and lift up your toes. So you want to imagine though, even though you're on your back, as if you were standing on the earth, on the ground, right? So with toes lifted to the sky, make sure now your inner edges of feet are paralleled with each other, no external rotation. So what that means is when feet come into direct parallel position, there's this energy of your inner thighs really rolling and hugging into the midline. So squeeze together firm. Then lift your arms up and overhead to the back of your mat. Palms now face each other. Once again, make sure hands are shoulder width apart. Draw your shoulder blades down your back here. And then generally we tend to arch our back when arms stretched overhead. So take the middle of your back, press it into the floor. You're going to feel the ribs sealing in. You're also going to feel your core firming just to hold that space. Never let your legs relax. Legs are power for you. They're going to be an anchor for your body. So roll-ups. We begin on an inhale. The peel up starts. Arms, head, shoulders. Exhale. Feel the legs press down as you rise. Stack spine, sitting tall. Fold forward over the legs, letting the head fall through the arms. Plug the shoulders back into their sockets. Come up tall with your next inhale. Round, roll down, drive out through those heels, making your way back to the mat, one vertebra at a time. We begin again. Start the lift on an inhale, and if you need help, you can bring an elbow to the ground to help you stack up to seated. Taking a deep fold forward, keep your feet flexed here. Come up tall on your inhale. Roll down slow on the exhale. So you're scooping at your core, rounding your spine, and releasing back to the mat. If we're using an elbow, just use the opposite arm now. Inhale, the lift starts. If you want more intensity, try to keep the arms framing your ears the whole time rather than pulling them forward. Fold. Come up tall, breath in. And then roll down slower than you'd like. Maybe now feeling the arms try to pull behind the ears on the way down. If you want even more heat, take your hands, stack one on top of the other, palms facing up, elbows stay wide. Keep the hands glued to forehead as you start to lift on an inhale. Push that air out and stack. Right, try not to let those elbows cave in if you're choosing to do this variation of the roll-up. Much more challenging on the core. Let's stack it back up on an inhale. On the exhale, tucking tailbone, and then one notch at a time. Maybe you have to take more than one round of breath to get back down onto the earth. And once you've landed here, draw the knees into the chest. Place your hands on your knees. Begin to now rock yourself forward and back, up and down the spine. Use a bit of core strength here to increase the movement of the rocking till you come all the way up to seated. From seated, transition yourself to tabletop. So come on to your hands and knees with fingers spread wide. Knees are hip width apart underneath your hips. And then rather than looking straight down at your hands, look slightly past them, looking forward to keep the heart stretched forward and the spine long. Soften your elbows. And sometimes we get real relaxed here. We kind of collapse into the arms and we create this kind of boat shape with our back. We want to do the opposite here. Push into the ground, lift out of the arms, and pull the lower belly in and up to engage core here. Take an inhale. Exhale, right arm forward and left leg back. Push out through your left heel and point the pinky toe straight down. Keep equal weight into grounded knee and grounded hand here. Draw the heart forward even more. Let's stay here for an inhale. Exhale, let the hand and knee release back down to the floor. And make sure that you don't kind of seesaw into space, right? Try to keep your body weight centered. Take another inhale. This time, left arm forward, right leg back. Move slowly so that we don't get to this space quick and then have to readjust. We get there and stay aligned. Draw the heart forward here. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands down, knee down. We come back to tabletop form. Breathing pattern is going to change here. We're going to offer a bit of now side extension with this. Again, the concept of our torso staying centered, our heart staying forward. Now on an inhale, take the right arm, reach it out in front of you. Take the left leg, stretch it back behind you, right? On an inhale. On the exhale, extend arm and leg out to their sides. stretch the heart forward. And then bring arm and leg back to center in line with your spine. And again, exhale, extension out. Use your outer hip strength to keep that leg from falling to the ground. Try to get it into parallel with the floor. And then bring the arm and leg back to center. I'm going to do 2 more of these. So when you extend, exhale, arm and leg out to their sides. Maybe they don't get there completely. That's fine. Do not shift your body weight. Come back through center on an inhale. One last time. So again, equal weight into grounded hand and grounded leg. Exhale. We tend to lean into grounded leg here, so don't do that. Keep drawing the heart forward. Good. Come back through center. And then take the hand down, knee down, back to tabletop position. So again, it's a very slow, small movement. Really great at activating into the core, particularly now kind of getting into our obliques, the waistline, as well as that outer hip strength, again, of the leg that's extending out to keep it elevated. Let's go to the other side now on an inhale. Left arm forward, right leg straight back. Exhale, extension out to their sides. Take your time, stretch heart forward. Don't shift weight into that back leg. And then bring the arm and leg back in line with spine, right? Forward and back on an inhale. Slow extension out to the sides. Exhale, firm that belly. You should feel it really tightening up there. Then bring the arm and leg back to center. We're doing 2 more of these. So exhale, extension out to the sides, right? Notice I'm not shifting my weight to that grounded leg. I'm staying centered and forward. Come back through center. One last time. Exhale. Squeeze out that breath. Good. Come back through center. Release hand down, knee down, tabletop. From your tabletop, let's come into child's pose from here. So we're going to widen out the knees so our big toes can now touch. Sit back to the heels with our sits bones. Let's begin to walk the hands forward as we fold over the legs. Keep the fingers spread wide. Keep the hands shoulder width distance apart. Again, it's another place where we like to narrow the hands, right? Wider hands, open chest, okay? And then once we're here, press the hands into the ground and lift your forearms off the ground, right? Your arm bones. Lift for energy. Slide your shoulder blades back and down for space, and pull the belly away from your thighs for activation. From our child's pose, let's tuck the toes under and transition to downward facing dog. Hips to the sky. As hips lift up, chest will push back. Maybe still keep a little bend in your knees. And even though the heels may not touch here, feel the energy of heels root to the ground, right? Mine don't touch, but I want to feel them anchor, anchor, anchor. And then feel the ribs seal towards your spine a bit. Head is relaxed. You should be able to shake it yes and no somewhat freely. Looking between your 2 big toes, downward facing dog. Here we are. Let's go ahead and fire up our whole body here. Take an inhale, lift up your heels nice and high now, right over the balls of your feet. And then as you exhale, slowly glide forward into a plank position, top of a push-up. Option to come to knees here as well. Look slightly forward. Lift hips and thighs away from the ground. Squeeze in your tush, right? Lower abs are activated and lift out of the arms. Don't sink into them. Take another breath in this space. And then exhale. Start with your hips. Start to draw them up to the sky. As the hips are lifting, feel the chest push back towards your thighs. As that's happening, feel the heels anchor down to the floor. And then finally, feel the ribs sealing in. We're coming back to downward facing dog, right? We'll do that a couple more times. So heels up on an inhale. Glide forward slowly on the exhale. As you glide forward, engage, right? Legs, glutes, lower abs, chest muscles, arms. So soften those elbows. Don't lock them out. Take one more inhale in this space. Exhale to downward dog. Again, hips up, chest back, heels down, ribs in. One more here. Heels high on an inhale. Glide forward to plank on the exhale. So we're going to stay here momentarily in plank. If you're still on your feet, you're going to widen your feet out more than shoulder width apart. Feel your pubic bone zip up to your navel. If you're on the knees, you're just going to widen the base of your knees, but make sure your hips don't push back here. Hips draw forward. We're moving into some shoulder taps. So the idea here is we don't want our hips to move. We want to use our core to stabilize as we tap to one hand, opposite shoulder. Tap and release. So when that hand lifts off, you really have to pull your core in tight. Take your time, breathe with this. And again, if our hips are shifting side to side, that's just an indication that we're not engaging the core enough. We're not using our arm power enough. Breath. We'll do this for 5 more seconds. 4, good. 3, 2, 1, good. Both hands ground down. Walk the feet back in close. Downward facing dog. Hips up, chest back, heels down, ribs in. Just a little full body work here. Maybe we're a little warm, right? Sweaty. Yeah, good. All right, downward dog. Let's take an inhale now. Look forward towards the hands. And then on your exhale, walk your feet to your hands, as many or as little a step as you'd like to take to come into your forward fold. Halfway lift then on an inhale. So that's shoulders just drawing up to hip level. Maybe the arms stretch back. That really helps to open up the chest. And then exhale, melt back over your legs, fold again. We'll do that a couple more times. So inhaling, halfway lifting, we're not pushing our chin forward, we're actually looking downward at the ground, and the crown of our head stretches out. Release, fold, exhale. One last time, inhale, halfway lifting. Imagine you have a lemon right between your shoulder blades. You're hugging lightly to open your chest. And then fold as you breathe out over the legs. Good. On an inhale, come all the way to standing. Ground the feet and rise. Stack all the way up. Lift your arms to the sky. Then interlace your fingers. Take your hands behind your head. I'm doing this kneeling so you can see me. On an inhale, we're stretching over to the right side of our mat. Firm in the belly. Exhale, slowly pull back up to stack again. So again, no momentum here, strictly muscle strength. Stretch to your left as you breathe in. Firm in that belly. Exhale, find lift. Stack shoulders back over hips. Stay here on an inhale. Release the hands and extend your arms up to the sky again. And then exhale, dive and fold back over the legs. That halfway lift again on an inhale. Plank position again on the exhale. Ground your hands down, and you can either step it back or hop it back, but land structure, right? Legs, glutes, abs, chest, arms. Let's draw the heart even more forward again on our next inhale. Lower to the mat with arms hugged into your sides. Exhale, and you can drop to knees first to get to that space. Untuck the toes when you get here. Press the tops of your feet to the floor. Fingers are spread. On an inhale, you're going to peel up your head and heart off the ground. Again, that lemon right between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, release it. We'll do that again. Breath in, head and heart. Lift as one unit. So back of the neck is still nice and long. Release as you breathe out. Float back down to the floor. We'll do this once more. So this is upper back and core. Breath in, peel head and heart up. We're not using arm strength here. And then float back down on the exhale. Tuck your toes under with your next inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale, either through a push-up, tabletop, or even a child's pose transition back into that space. So hips are up, chest is back, heels are down, ribs are in. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Breath in next, take the right leg and lift it back behind you. On your exhale, pull your shoulders over your wrists, bring that knee towards your nose, coil into a ball, 3-point plank. Then press back again, 3-legged dog on an inhale. Right leg lifted back behind you. Exhale, knee towards nose, so you round your back, shoulders draw over the wrist. That thigh is hiked up and in close to body. Push it back on an inhale, one last time here. Exhale, draw knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Then step that right foot up towards right thumb. Lunge. Release the back knee to the ground, untuck the toes. As you breathe in, you're going to stack and bring shoulders over hips, arms to sky to frame your ears. And then on your exhale, pull the arms forward in front of you. I'm going to turn so you can see. From here, you're going to create a big circle shape with your arms. So elbows sweep out to the sides and lift up in line with shoulders. So now that maybe just the very tips of your middle fingers connect. On an inhale, keep the shape of your arms and open them up. Hug between the shoulder blades again. Squeeze it out, exhale, activate your chest. pectorals, yeah? So opening the arms, again, they don't lose their shape ever. They stay as they are, and then squeeze into the front body. Feel a bit of resistance as those fingertips come back together. This is called hugging the tree. We'll do one more here. Opening up the arms, breath in, squeeze it out, exhale, connect. Good, lift arms to the sky, straighten them out as you breathe in, and then take your hands down, frame your front foot. Back toes curl, knee comes up, you're in low lunge. Go ahead and take a step up, come into forward fold. Halfway lift on and inhale. Melt it down again, release, exhale. Come all the way to standing on an inhale, ground your feet, rise, lift your arms to the sky. Exhale, the hands behind your head, interlacing and elbows are wide. Breath in, we stretch to our right. And then we activate the core to pull up slow, breath out. Stretch to the left, inhale. Firm it up, exhale, restack. Good. Inhale, release the hands, extend the arms back up. Dive forward and fold, exhale over your legs. That halfway lift again on the inhale, long spine, opened chest. Plank position as you exhale, hands come down, step or hop back to structure, right? Hands and feet or hands and knees. Pull the body a little bit more forward as you breathe in. Lower to the mat slowly on the exhale, untuck the toes. This time we're going to extend the arms out in front of us. Forehead to the mat, heart to the mat, arms to the mat, legs, tops of feet to the mat, hips to the mat. Everything to the mat, right? To start, spread your fingers, hands wider than shoulder. Now on your inhale, arms, head, and heart all lift up as one unit. And then float it down as you exhale. So we didn't want the legs or tops of feet to come up here, right? So just the upper body here. Inhale, arms, head, heart as one unit, float up. So your arms should still continue to frame your ears. You're still looking downward at the floor. And then float it down to the ground as you exhale. Once more here, breath in, lift, arms, head, heart. Let's stay here lifted, press those hips down. With your next exhale, take those arms and sweep them to the back of your mat, reach back to your heels. Maybe the heart came up a bit higher, we're really opening up the chest. Keep everything lifted as the arms sweep back around to the front, frame your ears again. Again, exhale, sweep arms back, reach to heels, open the heart space. And extend the arms forward again on an inhale, frame your ears. One last time, sweep back, exhale, lift up that heart. Draw the arms forward again on an inhale. And then exhale, lower chest back to the ground as hands draw underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Hips high, chest back, heels down, ribs seal in. Take a moment here to reset through breath. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Good. With your next inhale, now the left leg is going to lift behind you, nice and high. And then exhale to a 3-point plank. Shoulders over wrists, knee into nose, round your back, scoop in and up. Push it back into a 3-legged dog on an inhale, hips back up, leg extends behind. Exhale again, shoulders back over the wrists. Leg pulls forward, knee to nose, hike that thigh in close to body. Push it back on an inhale. So that's where that core strength comes into play. Once more, exhale, shoulders over wrist, knee towards nose, coil, and then step that left foot up towards the left thumb so you land in low lunge. Release the back knee to the ground and untuck the toes. As you inhale, begin to stack yourself up. Shoulders over hips, arms sweep up, frame the ears. As you exhale, now take the arms out to T. With fingers spread, feel your fingertips reach from wall to wall here, but also at the same time hug between the shoulder blades. So from hips up, there's going to be movement. Hips down should be very, very stabilized. So always keep hip heads pointed forward. Take an inhale. Twist to lead leg side. To the left. Right. Come back through center on an inhale. Rotate now to your right, and as you twist to the right, feel your right hip head push forward because it loves to pull back. We don't want that to happen. Come back through center. So we're engaging the waistline muscles again. Exhale, rotating to left, and as you twist to your left, feel the right arm pulling back just a little bit so it doesn't start crossing over body. Center on an inhale. So these rotations are much smaller than we may like it to be. Twisting to right, right hip pushes forward, left arm pulls back. So we're fighting ourselves in opposite energies. Let's come back through center and extend the arms up high. Exhale, hands to front the front foot. Back toes curl, knee comes up, low lunge. Take a step up, forward, fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Chair position on your exhale. So you're pushing weight back into your heels. Your sits bones push first back as far as they can go, then think about them coming downward. So back and down. Heart is high, so belly is in firm. Knees pushing out a bit to activate outer hips, but also inner thighs trying to squeeze together. Arms can be extended out and up. Arms can be extended directly in front. Hands can be at heart center, whichever feels best on your body. So here we're going to offer a movement of just the lower half of our body. So the idea is that our upper half should be very, very still. How can I do this so you can see everything? Let's go low. Let's start low here. So it's just a lift of the heels in your chair position, whichever position you like to be in. Inhale, take the heels and slowly pop them over the balls of your feet. Now feel your thighs pull closer towards your belly. And then release the heels back down again. So when that happens, we don't want the chest to rise and fall. So breath in, heels are coming up, thighs are pulling in closer towards torso. Release the heels, exhale. 2 more of these, heels high on an inhale. I'm having my hands at heart center because my arms are tired today. Exhale, let it release. I did a few exercises yesterday. So heels are up on an inhale. Let's keep the heels lifted. We're challenging our balance here. Pull the belly in firm. Begin to slowly straighten the legs out. Squeeze your glutes and extend your arms straight up to the sky. Still lifted off those heels, yeah? Maybe we're a little unstable. Maybe we're a little bit wobbly. I know I am. Let's take 1 more breath in. Woo-hoo. On your exhale, begin to slowly forward fold. Maybe the heels can still stay lifted. Good. And once you kind of fold, fingertips may touch, and then the heels come down. Nice work. That's not easy. Halfway lift on an inhale. Plank position on the exhale, hands down, stepping or jumping back to, again, structure. Firm everything in here. And then pull the heart forward as you breathe in. Lower the body down slowly to the floor as you exhale. And once you lower all the way down, extend your arms out in front of you again, nice and long. Legs lengthen behind you, nice and long. Hip bones are your anchor point. On an inhale now, we're going to lift everything off the ground. Arms, head, heart, legs, and feet. And then release it back down on the exhale. Lift up slow on the inhale, so we never want to kick up quickly, right? We want to keep our lower back nice and safe. Exhale, float it down with resistance. So this is getting your entire back body here. 1 more time, breath in, arms, head, heart, and legs all come up as 1 unit. Let's keep that all lifted. Stiffen up the arms, stiffen up the legs, breathe steadily. We're moving into swimming. So now the arms and legs are going to paddle like so, up and down, alternating movement. While the extremities are moving, right? Our arms and our legs, our head doesn't move, our chest doesn't move, our torso doesn't move. So core strength. Breathe with some fire here for 5. Ooh, this is a killer sometimes. 4, keep that heart lifting. 3, keep squeezing those glutes. 2, good breathing. 1, and then release. Take a cheek to the ground, rest your arms at your sides, maybe close the eyes here just for a moment. We build up heat. We let it go and we notice. So feel any sensation in your body. Notice also how that sensation starts to dissipate, right? Starts to fade through time. 1 breath at a time. Good. Then when you're ready, begin to take the forehead back to the earth. Start to slide the hands underneath the shoulders, arms hugged in close to the sides. Tuck your toes under. Downward facing dog. Pressing up, back, rooting down and sealing in. Wonderful. Looking forward on your next inhale. Feet to hands as you exhale, walking, jumping, or floating. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in. Melt and fold over the legs as you exhale. With your next inhale, come all the way to standing, grounding those feet, rising, stacking tall, arms to sky. Let's exhale, take the hands to heart center. So what I want us to focus here on is we're going to activate our hamstrings, our core. We are going to be working balance as well. So there's a few things that are going on. In this space, hands at heart center, all I want you to do first is take your right foot and step it back. So the leg behind you is as long as it can with just the very tiptoes grounded down. So I always use this as an example during my classes. If you can imagine those toys, those wooden birds that kind of dip to touch water or so, those wooden birds, I don't know, it could be a generational thing depending upon, right? But so this idea of that, the two end pieces, which are now the tiptoes of the right foot and the crown of our head, everything from that point A to point B moves as one unit. So we're not going to lead with anything first over another, right? Everything works as one. So here we are with hands at heart center, the very tiptoes of our right foot touched down to the floor behind us with leg long. So from this space, take a breath in. At the hips, we're hinging forward on the exhale. So as the heart comes down a bit, the leg is going to naturally lift. Flex that foot, push out through heel. Now your heart is stretching towards the front of your workspace. And then go ahead and start to stack the shoulders back over hips. That right leg is going to naturally come back down. Inhale. And again, exhale. As one unit, we start to hinge forward at hips. Heart stretches forward, leg naturally lifts. We're balancing on that left leg, of course. And then come back. Shoulders over hips, tiptoes, touch down. With this next one, we're going to hinge forward. So this is essentially like warrior 3 here, okay? Flexing that right foot, take an inhale. Now on our exhale, bend the right knee, bring that right heel right into the glute. Squeeze, we're activating the hamstring muscle. And then extend the leg back behind on an inhale. Again, all the while balancing, so pull that belly in. Exhale, curl in slow. Take your time. Extend back on an inhale. We'll do that one more time. Exhale, heel into glute. Heart stretched forward. Don't lose that openness across your chest. Breath in, extend that right leg back. And then on the exhale, shoulders stack, toes touch down, and then step your right foot up to meet your left. Ground in, take the arms at your sides, mountain pose. So take a moment to distribute the weight back equally into both feet. And can you refrain from shaking that left leg out, right? We did a lot of work on it because we're balancing weight on it. So it really strengthens the stabilizers in the feet and ankles and knee. Wonderful. Inhale next, take the arms to the sky, connect the palms together, exhale, hands to heart space. So we'll do that again on the other side. This time now, left leg extends back, just the tiptoes touch down. So we're still standing upright here. We haven't shifted forward with the shoulders. They're still over our hips. Take an inhale here, and then exhale. Now hinging at the hips, heart forward, leg lifts back. Right? Again, one unit. Nothing has moved before the other. And then bring the shoulders back over hips, toes touch back down again. Again, exhale. Heart has to stretch forward. Keep the activation between your shoulder blades so the shoulders don't round and you cave in. Release the foot back down as the shoulders stack back up. Again, exhale, hinge, heart forward, flex that lifted foot to give it energy. Come back to starting point on an inhale. This last time here, exhale, hinging at hip, heart forward, foot flex. Stay here, breathe in, essentially warrior 3. Ooh, I'm having balance trouble today. Exhale, bring heel into glute. Squeeze with the hamstring. Extend the leg back again on an inhale. Exhale again, curl in. Steady everything else. Once more, extend back. Breath in, exhale, squeeze it out, heel to glute. Whew. Reach back on an inhale. Release toes down, shoulders stack over hips. Exhale, step that left foot up to meet the right. Ground down equally, arms at your sides, mountain pose. Close the eyes here. Feel the root and the grounding underneath your feet. Your heart high. Stretch the crown of your head towards the sky and pull the belly in firm. With your next inhale, lift both arms up nice and high. Exhale, dive forward over the legs. Wonderful. Take a halfway lift on an inhale. Lower down to seated on the exhale. As gracefully as you can. You're going to eventually wind up landing at the center of your workspace, so you may have to readjust once you've actually touched down. But once you're seated at center, you're going to have the knees bent, feet grounded out in front of you. Knees and feet, again, hip bone width distance apart, 2 fist distances away from each other. Clasp behind your knees so that you can pull your belly up into your thighs, sitting really tall. I can never get the computer adjusted right. Okay, so sitting tall here, hug between shoulder blades again, activate the upper back muscles, which help to maintain this posture. Then pull the belly in and up to also maintain the posture. Extend or release the hands, extend your arms out in front of you. Take an inhale, sit up a little bit taller. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, so you're rounding your spine, you're scooping out your core, and you're rolling back just a little bit, nothing huge. You want the toes to stay rooted. Let's stay in this roll back position. If you find any discomfort here in lower back or hip flexors, you're going to come up a bit higher in that roll back, but then adjusting and trying to stay in that position. So in our C curve, on an inhale, lift your right foot off the ground, and then pull the knee towards chest, but nothing else moves. Exhale, release the foot back down to the floor. Left foot then on an inhale lifts and the knee pulls in. Ooh, a little bit of a crunch. Exhale, foot comes down. Right foot comes up. Draw in with the knee. Inhale. Exhale, foot to the floor. So notice the rest of my body stays as it is. Left foot comes up. The knee pulls in without the upper body falling back any. Exhale, release the foot to the floor. Let's do one more each side. Right foot, inhale, up and in. Exhale, bring the foot back down. Keep that chest open and lifted. Once more, left foot in on an inhale with the knee. Exhale, release the foot to the ground. Good. Next inhale, lift the arms up towards the sky. Slow release down onto the floor as you exhale. Good. Once you've come down onto the ground, lengthen your legs all the way out. Arms rest at your sides. I want to take a brief moment in what I'd like to call lightning shavasana. So Pilates, there is no such thing. Yoga, of course, there is. So we meet nicely in the middle for just a few moments of stillness. So with legs long, let your feet become really heavy, right? Let the feet just kind of splay naturally out to their sides. Let go of your ankles. Let go of the knees. Let go of the hips. With arms at sides, turn the palms to face up. Again, rolling shoulders open. Let them melt to the floor. Let your eyes softly close here. Slightly part your teeth. Unhinge the jaw. Common area of tension. And then tongue generally presses up to the roof of our mouth. So go ahead and let that fall away as well. To be here for just a few moments with breath. So again, we come back to just the inhale and the exhale. This stillness with ourselves. Noticing once again how we take air in and how we let it release. Keep your eyes closed. Slowly take one hand to heart here, one hand to belly, and just continue to breathe. Feel the beating of your heart, the movement of belly up and down due to your own breath. the feeling of touch, the connection to self. And as you stay here with this connection, also take this time to thank yourself that you took time in your day to be here, right? To show up to your workspace, your practice space. But really, most importantly, that you took the time to show up to yourself. Just pause and slow down, and just to be here one breath at a time. With your next inhale, take both arms, reach them up and overhead. Come to a nice full body stretch. As you exhale, sweep the arms around, draw the knees into your chest. One last hug here. Begin in this space to then rock yourself once more forward and back, up and down the spine until you've rocked yourself to seated. And then once you've come to seated, really feel the sits bones anchor down to the floor. Feel your heart reaching up high. Take the hands together, bring them to your heart space, and also lower chin to chest, bowing head to heart, heart to head. In this time of uncertainty, it can create fear, anxiety, right? This idea of the unknown. So what can help us is really the breath. Take it one breath at a time, one moment at a time, one day at a time. We keep on keeping on. Thank you guys very much for joining me live for practice. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Here's start to a new week. Namaste.